Meeting called to order. Please rise. Salute the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our troops, our police officers, first responders, and fire department. Thank you. Sunshine notice, please.
In compliance with provisions of Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice in December 2022 edition of the Trends. This notice was also placed on the Kinnelon Boro website and sent to the Star Ledger, North Jersey Herald News, the Record, and posted on municipal building bulletin board.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Here.
Councilman Harris?
Here.
Councilman Maybe?
Here.
Councilman Russo?
Here.
Councilman Charles?
Here.
Councilman Sherrill?
Here.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, please.
The treasurer's report indicates we started out with cash on hand as December 31st, 2022 in the amount of $8,274,258.13. Receipts for the month of January total $3,878,664.08, with disbursements amounting to $4,698,226.66. The new balance on hand as of January 31st, 2023 was $7,454,695.55.
Mr. Karen. Okay, Mayor's report. I met with the superintendent of schools, David Mango, and he's doing an amazing job so far. He's very open-minded to Kinnelon, to all of our ideas, and the reason being is he's a resident of Kinnelon. So I know they're trying to implement full-day kindergarten, which will be a huge plus for our town, and I'm excited for him. We had a great meeting with myself, Councilman Russo, and our town administrator, Charlie Daniels. So we had a great meeting. We have another one scheduled. We're looking at some different shared services and also some different avenues for both of us to save money. So I'm excited for that meeting. July 17th to the 23rd will be the town carnival. September 30th will be K-Fest. I know it got rained out for our 100th anniversary. So K-Fest will be September 30th, and it will be our last celebration of us being 101 years old. So hopefully that'll turn out to be a great event. Council committee reports. I'd like to start with Councilman Yago with open space.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm going to start out by taking the easy way out of this because Jessica Zelenak is here from the SOSAC committee, and she's actually going to give the report of what happened at the committee, so making it very easy on me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
You're welcome.
thank you. I am Jessica. I know.
Here.
I am Jessica Zelenak. At 7 Boone Avenue, and I am the vice chairperson of the Sustainability and Open Space Advisory Committee, SOSAC. And I wanted to come and give a quick update on just a few of the things we've been working on. At the end of last year, we used the remaining budget of the Environmental Committee to purchase 2,000 daffodil plants, which we're excited to plant around municipal buildings as part of a beautification project. We're working with Councilman Yago to identify some locations, and we have a tentative date for planting of Earth Day on April 22nd, which is a Saturday this year, with a potential rain date of the 29th of April. So we hope to broadcast through all sorts of channels, including the Boro website. That's update number 1. Update number 2 is that the Kinnelon Conserves group that previously existed, they have not been existing for a number of years, is my understanding, but they would like to donate a bench to the borough to put at Entmeyer Lake. So we took a look a few weekends ago. I think it was the first weekend of February. It was 1 degree outside. We went out there and we took a look at a few sites where it could possibly go to overlook the dam. We went with Councilman Charles just to confirm it wouldn't interfere with any of the known trails since he's been very close to that work. And so we found a possible location, and we have a proposal and some more information that will be ready to transmit to the council soon. And then the final sort of working element of our meeting was looking at ways we could engage either with Tree City USA or Sustainable New Jersey on a potential application or certification process as a working project for this year. That is my update. Any questions?
So what is the daffodils, what is that going to entail? Do you need volunteers?
We will need volunteers. And you have to use like a special shovel, like a daffodil shovel. So hopefully the volunteers may have some of those from home. And I know that we're going to reach out to, I believe, the Boy Scouts and some other of the clubs from the high school that might be interested, as well as the Kinnelon Gardening Club.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add just a little bit to that. The donation was brought to us by Josephine Boro. I just wanted to acknowledge that she's the one that has the Kinnelon Conserve, the money left over from Kinnelon Conserve, and she's going to donate it to the borough in order to, actually she's going to purchase the bench, because she can't donate it to us and we can't purchase it. The way these legal things work, it's got to be donated as a bench. And then the only other thing I was going to say is that Scott Simpner is working on getting us Tree City USA certified.
Yes.
And that's it from me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
Jessica. Appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman. Personnel, Councilman Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I'd like to do is actually thank last year's Personnel Committee Chair, Bill Iago, and also the rest of his Personnel Committee for negotiating the contract, the VEW contract, which is the white-collar workers contract for the borough. They did a terrific job. We got the contract back from the union's attorney just this past week, and because we want to move this process along, we reviewed the minor changes that were made to the contract that was ratified or accepted by the union. And we, excuse me, and this is all work that was done by last year's committee. And we just looked at it, we ended up signing it and sending it back to our labor attorney. So that's now in the process. It'll be hopefully shortly brought back to council so that we can ratify it, and then it'll go into effect. The police union contract is coming up for negotiation. We're slated to start negotiating in June, and the Personnel Committee is going to start familiarizing themselves with the existing contract, so there'll be no where we're starting from. We have some idea of where we want to go. There's a great deal of training that goes on in the borough for both the paid workers and unpaid workers, and one of the examples is Lee Irwin, who is our associate tax collector, just completed the certified tax collectors training and passed the state exam with flying colors. And I'm told by Charlie Daniels, our CFO, that that's a very difficult test to pass, and many people don't pass it on the first time, but she did a great job. So now we have another certified tax collector in the borough. This past January, the police department completed their seasonal rifle familiarization training and firearms training at the Morris County Public Safety Academy range, and they also completed report training with the in-house DMS system. And the fire department logged 450 volunteer hours in the execution of their duties of protecting Kinnelon and our mutual aid communities. And the fire department personnel completed their annual right to know bloodborne pathogen training in January. And all 3 firehouses completed pumper operations training, which was mainly focused on drafting from lakes. And as most of you may know or may not know, Kinnelon is not fully covered with fire hydrants, so when there's an issue in an area without fire hydrants, we actually have to have the fire department draw from lakes or ponds, and that's not an easy thing to do without training. So there's a lot of training that goes into making that happen in a timely fashion. One last note on the fire department, Justin Bauer, who completed his Firefighter 2 training fairly recently, and is also engaged in NIMS 300 training, which is officer training course, and we appreciate that. Over the course of the past month, I've been trying to get a handle on just how big the operation here is in Kinnelon. I was trying to figure out how many employees does the borough have, how many volunteers in terms of committees and things like that are make up essentially the organization that runs Kinnelon. And if my numbers are correct, there are approximately 41 full and part-time municipal employees. That includes the police department, the municipal courts, the DPW, tax collectors, tax assessors, construction and zoning officials, and the borough administrative staff. And we have also a very large group of volunteer employees that serve on boards, councils, committees, and departments. And that is roughly for 6 of the 7 groups, if you want to call them groups. There's 74 employees, 74 non-paid employees, and more than half, actually 43 of the 74 employees are actually in the volunteer fire company. The 7th organization, which is the recreation department, is run by a single full-time employee, a woman named Melanie Shuckers, and she has a part-time assistant, Ellen Hay, and they manage hundreds of volunteers that put in possibly hundreds of thousands of hours on behalf of the borough, and it's quite an amazing operation, and it's all geared toward the youth of Kinnelon. And I asked Melanie if she could actually calculate the numbers of volunteers and the number of hours that they put in on a monthly basis, and she said, I'll get back to you. A rough estimate, though, for that is about in the tens of thousands of hours on a monthly basis. And Mayor, that is the extent of my
Okay,
report.
well, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Recreation and Public Works. Council President Maybe.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with DPW first. We had a water main break earlier this week that John Whitehead picked up. They jumped into action, got the contractor out. I know the schools and the borough were affected with early dismissals, but they did a good job. They got it patched up and got it back working. We've been fortunate on the DPW side this year with the weather pattern we've been having. Our salt usage and really just the labor and fuel that we generally spend on a much busier winter. We're much more fortunate this year not having a really bad winter. The DPW finally took delivery of a mason dump truck that we bought 2 years ago. It took 2 years to actually get that vehicle. This is a problem that seems that isn't going away anytime soon right now. So pretty much anytime we go to purchase something, you probably will not take delivery on that for over 2 years. So lastly, on DPW, Billy Allen.
Is there a balloon?
Let's try this again.
See that work?
Yeah, okay. Billy Allen submitted his resignation. Kinnelon resident, graduated from Kinnelon High School, 18-year veteran of DPW, and he will be sorely missed. We wish him well. He's was always a pleasure to talk to work with, and he did a really good job for the borough of Kinnelon. So we wish him well moving on, but we're going to miss him. And if anybody knows anybody that's interested in DPW careers, Kinnelon is certainly looking. That's it for DPW recreation. New Jersey Devils Kinnelon Night is this Tuesday. We sold out. All participants will be taking a shot on the ice from the blue line into the net immediately after the game. That should be exciting. We've experienced an amazing winter season. All the gyms were packed every night, all day Saturday, for all the Colt clinics. Basketball boot camp, many basketball leagues, travel basketball, and wrestling. All winter activities will be ending at various times over the next few weeks, with March 10th being our end date. There's a Bob Scorzo High School Rec Championship game in the works. The date has not been announced yet, but Bob Scorzo was a very long time member of the Recreation Committee and gave so much to the youth of Kinnelon over the years. So that's kind of what this championship game is being held for. Both boys and girls lacrosse have begun some training. We'll start training on the weekends, March 1st. Exciting for hockey. Hockey used to be such a big part of Kinnelon sports. We've had some state championship teams, always had a strong youth program, and over the years it kind of slowly deteriorated away. A newly created Associate Kinnelon Youth Hockey will be kicking off a campaign to attract more families to consider ice hockey. They'll be having an informative parent meeting on March 20th, while the kids will be treated to some indoor floor hockey. In addition, they will be holding a community skate in early April as a fundraiser to raise money for the association. A meeting was held for a celebration of Kevin Hurt that took place to give Kevin some kind of memorial on our field behind the municipal building where kids play football and lacrosse. Having known Kevin pretty much my whole life, the amount of children that he touched coaching, he was just one of those special individuals. And if you had attended his funeral, all the boys that showed up wearing their football jerseys to honor his passing was quite a sight to see. So I kind of spearheaded a group of people that coached with Kevin, knew Kevin, and they're putting a committee together to do some kind of memorial down at the field. Last two things, sponsorship forms for the military banner program that we've got in motion will be hitting everybody's Butler electric bill next month. The object, kind of what I put in place was, we're going to do anywhere from 30 to 45 banners, and we're going to hang them mostly on Kinnelon Road, inside the complex. And what I wanted to do, because I just thought it was a nice offering, was to try to raise the money for the first 30 or 45 banners. So this donation form, if it's $1, if it's $5, whatever it may be, your money's going to something really special to honor veterans, and I think it just gives Kinnelon such a good light to participate in these banner programs like other communities do. I think it's classy, and I think it's just a good recognition of people that actually serve the country. Lastly, the septic system over at the Boonton Avenue field is in the works. We're moving forward. The field was staked out. We've got one little hiccup with an issue with insurance with a fence that was damaged over there. Once that issue is solved with the insurance, we will go ahead and break ground over there and start putting the septic tanks in before the youth sports start up in the spring. And that's pretty much it for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Also mention the farmer's market. I got today, June 5th will be the first day of the Kinnelon Farmer's Market for this year. And Doug Van Wingerton is going to be running the market, so we're excited for Doug. June 5th. Okay, we'll move on to ordinance, library, and coordinating. Councilman Russo.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Ordinance, tonight we're going to vote to adopt the ordinance which just amended the ranges of fees that are charged for the recreation department. That hasn't been done for several years, and it gives the flexibility to change as costs change for the recreation department. Also, we have in progress discussions with our borough fire official about cleaning up some obsolete language in the fire code official language in the borough code book. We're working on a disturbing the peace ordinance, which we are getting input from various stakeholders, one of which, of course, is our chief of police. We are finalizing our ordinance concerning the conduct of dogs on various properties, and also we are going to revise the zones that exist in the borough in various areas. So we've got, and also we're looking at an ordinance which will allow billboards. These are all in progress. Nothing further to report on those. Liaison to the Board of Adjustment, we had one application for a variance for a pool installation, and that I understand was granted with stipulations. The Historical Committee, they report that there was additional damage to the museum due to a water main break. I'm sorry, not a water main break, but burst water pipes, I guess, in those 1 or 2 cold days that we had. So in addition to the damage that we had from 2 fires, we also have this water situation at the museum. They report to me that the paint is peeling from the exterior, and I advised them to consult with Margaret Hickey, who was the coordinator of the restoration for the building, to see if the paint originally was applied properly or what the case may be, and see how we could remediate that situation. And of course, just like everywhere else in the borough, there's dead ash trees on the property, and DPW Superintendent John Whitehead has made arrangements to remove those trees. For the library, most folks probably already know this, but it really pains me to report that Ron Leavesley has passed away. Ron was the longtime president of the Friends of the Kinnelon Library and the Center for Lifelong Learning, and was very instrumental for the last 30 years in guiding and promoting all of the wonderful programs that we've had at the library. And it was a shame to see Ron's passing. I was fortunate to be able to visit with him in his last days. Right up until the end, he was lucid. He was concerned about what was going on at the library, what was going on in the borough, and he will surely be missed. The planning board, Dr. Steve Savino unfortunately resigned his position from there, and that's further, erosion of the experience and institutional knowledge that we've had from that board. And we wish Dr. Steve well and thank him for the many, many years of service that he put in on the planning board. The planning board attorney reported that in Meadtown, which is over by the Dairy Queen. That is in Butler, and that they are going to put a marijuana store in that strip. The parking is part of Kinnelon, so there's some issues about that, but the marijuana store will be in Butler. But one other thing I want to mention about the library, and that is the library is currently conducting a survey of the patrons. They would like people to give input as to what types of programs they'd like to see, what other offerings that the library may present. And if you go onto the library website, there is a link right on the front page of the library website. So we encourage people to take the patron survey and let the library know what you're thinking, how they're doing, and what better ways they can serve us. That survey closes on March 15th, so if you haven't done so already, please do that. And lastly, the Board of Education, the board and Superintendent David Mango have formed the Community Relations Committee, and I guess I am part of that. And it is to discuss issues of interest between the Board of Ed and the greater Kinnelon community. There's a number of stakeholders that are involved in that, and hopefully the relationships between the board and the borough, as well as all of the people involved in services from the school, will be given an opportunity to discuss common issues and ways we can deal with it. And that is my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. You done, Council? You done? Okay.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Vince had a copy of the survey.
Yeah, if anybody wants to see it, it's here.
I think Karen has it, if you know, and you can get it printed out over at the library. It's pretty neat.
Thank you, Councilman. Sure.
Councilman Rousseau, you had mentioned that the superintendent of schools had a meeting and we're talking about input from the community. How can people from the community get involved in that?
I don't know.
Okay.
He hasn't been to a meeting yet.
Oh,
Eric, this meeting is basically just, they've been doing it a while, and I was the former liaison. It's really just, you know, a representative from the council. When the mayor can make it, he makes it, and then if the chief makes it, it's just an overall overview of the meeting of what's happening, what's going on, just input. But if you want to get involved to see what's going on, I suggest to everybody that, you know, you try to attend as many school board meetings as you can, because that's where a lot of the nuts and bolts are.
I guess my takeaway from what you were talking about was that this is something extra that the new superintendent is doing for suggestions about things that the school can.
It's more of a coordinated committee from the Board of Ed meeting with our coordinating committee, and in turn our chief of police is there. Just so any types of questions about the community that comes up are there. It's not really about the actual education of children. It's about more of shared services and issues and stuff like that. So
Members of the home and school associations are part of it. Interested groups like
I
that.
think there is another group that is parents that meet regularly as well.
Oh.
It's not this one.
I guess I misunderstood, but.
So they call it community relations, so.
Yeah,
it
that's
kinda
why-
seems like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I apologize.
No,
They used to have it, then it slowed down, now it's coming back.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
They re-energized.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman.
You're welcome.
So we'll move on to utilities and technology. Councilman Charles.
Thank you, Mayor. As mentioned, we had a water main break mid-Monday morning at the pipeline, the water line that comes in behind Keel School, and that was repaired in the afternoon, so everything was up and running. So the outtake from that is they're assessing that water line back there right now, because there have been some suggestions quite a few years ago regarding that loop, and we're going to revisit that loop from the water engineer, just to look at this, because it's sort of inconvenient when it comes down the back of the mountain through the woods. it's not where you want to have a water line break. So we're moving forward on that. That happened on Monday. We are going to begin in March to have our committee monthly meetings. So utilities and technology, open space, library will be meeting the second Tuesday and the second Thursday of the month. We're going to be getting that again. Update on the monopole over at Denise Drive. The county has their antennas all migrated over to the new pole. They have been calibrated, they're up and running. The county is very excited with it. We're just waiting for some equipment to come in, and the Boro antennas will be moved off the water tank and over to that antenna shortly. And that's all dependent on when the equipment is received by our Northeast Communications. Talking about the tank, now that the pole's in, the plans have been approved for the footings to go in, the big concrete pylons that are reinforced for the new tank. So that timeline is being put together. The equipment's been ordered. It's a matter of when it comes in that they're going to be able to implement that and start the construction. Parallel to that will be the installation and approval by DEP of the pneumatic water tank that will be in place to supply the water during this new tank being installed. Just remind everybody, the old tank was 175,000 gallons. It was a limited 27-year lifespan tank. It more than did its duty. Should have been replaced a long time ago. The new tank will be 225,000 gallons on the same pad, but all steel, U.S. made, not from China. Moving forward, the HVAC, they're still waiting for parts. It's been ordered. Train has ordered it. And as soon as everything's received, we will receive a timeline. And tentatively, we're hoping to have it done by May, if everything comes in on time. Apparently, the supply chain is still an issue. A lot of material is still manufactured over in China. We still have the ongoing of the replacement of the water meters. We're looking to do that this year. That was built into the bond issue. Some very exciting news. We started a week and a half ago. The utilities are being extended up Walnut for the new emergency shelter senior community center on Booth Ave. So all that water, gas, sewer is being has started, and they have the due date tentatively right now based on the contract is April 28th. So that's alive and well. We're on our way with that. We're quite excited, which means we'll start the next phase 2, which will be the field. Mayor, we have to work on the field, putting the plans together for the field and the field house. And that's a separate issue that we'll be looking at a little later on. And that's it for utilities. For technology, same thing. We have a bit underway. Again, if everybody should feel a little comfortable, the Borough Hall, our employees, we did finish and pass the Tier 1 cybersecurity program with the accreditation required by the Morris County Joint Insurance Fund. We completed that. And it was delayed because we changed insurers, but we have now completed the first tier. Now we're moving to the second tier, the third tier. And you're asking, what does that mean? It means that we can reduce our deductible. God forbid we get hit with any ransomware, any serious viruses. We can reduce the borough's deductible from $110,000 an incident to $85,000 right now. When we get down to the Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 1, we'll get it back down to $25,000 deductible. So we're moving forward on that. Again, the digitization, is going to be started this year. That will be a completion of migrating all the Board of Health and the cartons and cartons of 100 years worth of borough records and minutes will be digitized and be put online. It'll be hard and up at the cloud at the same time, so we're very excited with that. We're also going to move forward with the new digital wiring. This is all original wiring in this building and over the library. And that is being developed right now, a program through our current IT provider, Tyson. So we're looking at that, and those will be new systems to bring us up to compliance and up to state of the art, because we do need it. And PD needs it because we have to set up where PD will be able to be on their own. They'll have their own cloud, they'll have their own capabilities, so they'll be separate from the borough. Telephones will be the same, it will be parallel. So original telephones in these buildings, they need to be updated and replaced. And we'll be working with that. Our borough administrator has reached out and looking at several other towns and how they did it, and how they've integrated their telephones, their digital, and their IT. Lastly, for some reason, Microsoft has decided they're going to start by April this year. They're going to require municipalities to upgrade all their servers. So we're in the process of having that being assessed right now, a plan put together by the Tyson, so they can come back and we can review it and present it to everybody. So we're in compliance and we'll be ahead of it. And Mayor, that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Council. All right, Finance and Public Safety, Councilman Cherto.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with the finance report because it's the most detailed. The Finance Committee has met with each of our department heads and have reviewed each department's operating and capital needs. The key to that statement is needs, not so much wants. Like every budget, whether you manage a municipality, a business, or a household, everything comes down to those two words, wants and needs. I want to go to Disney, but I might need a new roof. So it all comes down to those two words, and this is the approach that we're taking as we look at the budget. I'll be honest, as everybody knows, it might not be a rainbows and butterflies. As everybody knows the environment we're in, things go up. Councilman Yago touched on it last year about our garbage and how our garbage contract has almost doubled, recycling, and basically every other daily expense. And that's the main challenge that we're facing, and how we're going to make sure that we can plan to provide these services and still be fiscally responsible to our community. It all comes down to planning. While we have a 2-year contract with our garbage company, we are working, Councilman Maybe's working with other municipalities to talk about options, so that when the time comes and the 2-year contract is up, we will be able to have the best financial options in mind for our community. As we discuss the operating budget and massage it, we have a whole other beast of another project, and that's our capital plan, our capital budget. If anybody knows me, they know that I'm a planner. I was taught very early on, and if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I'm not the kind of person that ever plans to fail. In our operating or in our budget meetings with each department head, they did outline all of their department's capital needs. Councilman Charles did mention a couple of them tonight. It's a long list. In terms of a police dispatch desk that is original to our building and needs to be updated. Our fire service, we have an ordinance tonight to look into replacing one of the old engines. The plan is to make sure that we can prepare for these things as times go on. Our servers, our phones, touched on already, they're the arteries, the main artery of this borough, and old, it's a costly process, and we need to make sure we plan for it. Our roof, paving, DPW vehicles, our rec department. Our rec department is one of the brightest gems of our community. In order to keep that gem shining as bright as it is, we need to invest in our facilities. I went to the Bootenave field and took a look at the tennis courts, and they need some love. There's some cracks, and we need to think of how we can plan to phase these things in. It's a long list of projects, and even longer dollar amount when you factor in what that is. And coming off of these department meetings, the mayor and council president Sean Mabey did ask for input, and they've been in the process of meeting with all of our members of the council so that we can take a look at this long list and collectively see how we each think these priorities fall into the long-term plan of the municipality. So I think it's a good plan that we have in place. I think it's great that we're getting everybody's input on that as well. Public safety, I'd like to welcome Christopher Gilman. He's on the agenda tonight as a new appointee to the Kinnelon Fire Company, I believe as a junior fireman. It's a great service to the community. So congratulations, and keep doing. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Fire company, I mentioned last month, was in the process of working on a grant with a grant writer. They've actually submitted that grant. It's a FEMA grant, and hopefully in the next couple of months we'll have some great news and some exciting news. Our police department handled 1,248 calls this month in January, or the prior month of January, and actively work every day to keep Kinnelon one of the safest communities in the state. So thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So Councilman, we met with, Councilman Baby and myself met with all of, most of the council. And so be prepared for our workshop to discuss the capital. I mean, bring whatever you need to bring so we can all, together collectively discuss it.
Yeah, no problem, Mayor. I'll put together from the department meetings and the feedback from each member, I'll work to put together some sort of presentation for our work session.
Great. And then if you could just, well, I think everybody has the list of the capital items. If you don't, Charlie has the list, so you can just ask for it.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll move on to hearing from the public. Is there anybody from the public like to be heard? If so, come on up.
Good evening. Alex Berlucci, 18 Dogwood Trail. I'm the Vice President of the Kinnelon Volunteer Fire Company. I'm here tonight on behalf of the KVFC. I wanted to thank the Finance Committee and the Public Safety Committee, as well as Mr. Daniel and of course, Mayor Frida. Over the last 2 months, there's been a constant flow of communication between the KVFC and the Council on a range of issues. Recently, we were asked to participate in the budget preparation process, including both our short-term and long-range needs, both operating and capital, as Councilman Churro mentioned. And we are really excited about the collaboration, transparency, and the support of the council. And we also want to thank the council for the ordinance that's on the agenda tonight for the introduction for the replacement, much-needed replacement of engine 22, which is a 1991 fire engine in the Company 2 area. Again, I just want to reiterate our appreciation and thanks for the support of this council.
Okay, would anybody else from the public like to be heard? Please come forward. Okay, hearing none, I'll close it to the public. We'll move on to payment of bills. All council members have gotten received a copy of the bills. Was there any questions? Okay, so I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churro?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Charlie, you can pay the bills. Okay, we have resolutions on the consent agenda. We have resolution 2.01 and resolution 2623, and also the minutes for January 19th, 2023. Thank you. Mostly they are authorization and interlocal agreement with Bloomingdale, who does our repair for our police cars and our DPW trucks. Refund cash for paving on someone's property. Municipal, North Jersey Municipal Employee Benefits Fund. It allows us to go into the fund.
Excuse me, Mayor, I
Sure.
did add a resolution for an appropriation reserve budget transfer, something that is more house cleaning than anything else that we need to do.
Can you just explain it?
Sure. So what this means is, with any of the sub-accounts, any of the, and I believe you all have a copy of it, with any of the sub-accounts within a particular account. When I say account, it might be recreation, it might be administration, it might be water utility account expense. Sometimes you have an overage in one sub-account, you have an underage in another account. It's just moving money into the overage from a line item that, or a sub-account that had an underage. Just balancing the books. I'm not asking for any more money, things like that.
So is it a dollar transfer?
It's a dollar transfer from one sub-account to another. That's all.
And how much is it?
For the
32,280.
I'm sorry.
32,280.
Okay.
Yes, for water utility, it's $32,280 into miscellaneous expenses. That's primarily covering, we had a number of water main breaks. And we had to cover it, and that's something that we have to look at in the budget for water utility this year. And in current funds, we had vehicle maintenance for the police department was a little bit high. I took it, we have an interlocal agreement with Bloomingdale where we offset that with the amount of work that we supplied them through street cleaning and vacuuming out their sewers. I took it from the, we had an underage in how much we paid for Bloomingdale construction official, so I took it from there of $3,090.
Okay, yep, makes sense. So is that gonna be 2.0723?
Correct.
All right, I need a motion, to add that to the agenda.
Oh, so moved.
Second.
Okay, the roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Amy?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churlish?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the motion to move that over to the consent agenda. So now we have, Vince, did you have a question before I go to the consent agenda?
I did, Mayor, thank you.
Sure.
On 20623, the crosswalk, I thought we were just gonna paint the crosswalk across the road.
No, they needed to do a lot of engineering work. You needed a pad on the property on each side of the road where the crosswalk is going to be.
So just like a little sidewalk there?
No, the lane
Yeah,
issue.
it's I think it's
DOT, as
required,
soon as
yeah.
you do that, you have to
I'm
open
sorry,
it.
should I hear?
As soon as you enter into putting a crosswalk, there's a standard. And once you do that, you have to try to construct that as close to the standard as possible. That's why they gotta put the pads in.
So it's like ADA?
Yes.
It's like the one we did up in the back.
As soon as you do that,
Pearl.
you have to follow
Like
that.
Pearl, we did Pearl School last 2 years ago.
All right,
They're making
thank you.
sure if you have a wheelchair or you're on by foot,
Yep.
that you can be off the road and stand. That's a lot of people are like, where's the sidewalk? You know, it's just a little pad and there's no sidewalk in it.
It makes no
But
sense.
that's for someone in a wheelchair to be out of the traffic while it's waiting to cross. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, so I have consent agenda A to, we're gonna go with, one we just added on, which is 2.01 down to 2.07, and the minutes for January 19th. So I need a motion to approve.
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churlish?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on to old business. Which is 1-23. It's the amending Article 1, Section 119 of recreation fees of Chapter 119, fees of the Borough of Kinnelon. This ordinance was introduced last at our meeting held on January 19, 2023. The proper notice was published as required by law. A copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board, and additional copies were made available to the public. This meeting is now open to anyone who would like to speak on ordinance 1-23. Now close this meeting to the public, bring it back to the dais. Does anyone on the council wish to speak at this time? Okay, I need a motion to adopt ordinance 1-23.
So moved.
I need a second, thank you. I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churlish?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now we move on to new business. Introduction of ordinance 3-2023. It's a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of a new fire truck by the Borough of Kinnelon in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $800,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $760,000 of bonds or notes of the borough for financing such appropriations. I need a motion to introduce.
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second.
Discussion.
Could I have some discussion first?
We can discuss ordinance.
Pardon me?
We can discuss the ordinance.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes?
Sure.
Yes. Could, Could our CFO, Mr. Daniel, please explain the financing arrangement for this?
Yes, okay, so, based on the workshop session, I was asked to put an ordinance together, using, for the purchase of this fire truck, at this meeting. And I was asked to look into using ARP funding for a portion of it in order to put a down payment on the fire truck such that we would receive some savings. What I did some investigation, and by state statute, I'm not allowed to put down an amount such as that, primarily because the idea is that if you put down an amount, if the company goes out of business, whoever you're buying from, you lost that money. If they go bankrupt, you lost that money, okay? So, and that's local fiscal affairs, public law. So I looked at our current, what I call our debt strategy, and said, okay, if we needed to go out for a bond anticipation note for this purchase, what would it do to our debt strategy? And I believe that we're in a good situation right now with utilizing our debt strategy such that we know that we have a bond coming up in 2024. We have another bond. When I say coming up, they're maturing, which means we end the payment of that bond. We have another bond coming up in 2032. What we're doing here is I'm asking, council is being asked to authorize a bond anticipation note of $760,000, which we also know that it's going to take approximately 2 years to get this fire truck, to actually have it delivered. Possibly even more. I can tell you that I've spoken to our auditor, and he said of the 10 towns that he is working with, 6 of them are now looking into fire trucks. So they're a commodity, and it might be difficult to actually, it might take a while before we get it. In any event, I'm not going out for a bond anticipation note until we get close to the purchase of this. So it might be a year and a half before we actually go. But at least if we get this ordinance introduced and authorized, we can order the fire truck, and it will probably be delivered in approximately 2 years. So it fits in, knowing that. I don't want to get too detailed, but because I put it in a note, but knowing that we have a debt strategy, and this fits in with that debt strategy of trying to maintain a level tax rate based on the amount of debt we have, and we're hitting 2, what I'll call critical periods, 2024, 2032, and we'll be able to keep our tax rate with the debt level. So I believe this fits in well.
So we're not putting out any money at this time?
The only thing that you are, let me just make sure I use the correct wording. The only commitment that you're making out of your operating budget is $40,000, and that's by state statute. In order for us to borrow money, we have to have some skin in the game, which means that we have to set a certain amount aside from the borough's budget to pay for this. And by state statute, it's 5%, and that's where the $40,000. So you are committing, right now, you're committing $40,000 of the borough's self-funded amount to that project.
But that's on the,
I'm sorry?
that's after the 2 years when we receive
I believe it is. And this is something that we might want to look into. There is you can work with the vendor, okay, to make a partial payment based on the amount of work done. It's almost like a road. I'll compare it to a road. When you're building a road, you're going to pay at a certain point an amount. When a particular part of that road is completed, you're going to pay an amount. And then when it's fully completed, you're going to pay the rest. Well, for instance, let's say we work out an agreement with the vendor that when the engine is put on the chassis, okay, that amount you pay for, all right? They may, and I've heard that other municipalities have done this, they may say that, okay, you're paying us, you own the vehicle, the engine and the chassis at this time. When we deliver it, you pay the balance. And sometimes you can work into that agreement a reduction in cost. I've never done it, but I've heard other municipalities have done that. So that's something that possibly we could look into.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question. We're not sure how we're funding it right now. We're not sure if we're doing a ban for 10 years, if we're rolling it into 2032, rolling it into 2024. So it seems to me not very well planned out. But the question I have is, if we pass this ordinance, does this preclude us from going out to bid? Are we locking in with this company, which is in the co-op, which doesn't require us to go out to bid, but this truck is, my understanding, an identical truck to one that we bought 2 years ago, and it's gone up about $200,000. I'd like to see this truck go out to bid and let all the different fire truck manufacturers bid on it. So how would that work? Would this preclude us from doing that?
No, I don't, okay, so right now, the idea is to go out to the Houston Galveston Co-op. It's a national co-op, and with a cooperative, if we belong to Houston Galveston Co-op, with a cooperative, you're really taking the position that the cooperative is representing you and finding you, the municipality, making an agreement with the company that they offer the lowest price. They will typically go to a number of manufacturers and say, okay, for this purchase, how much will it cost? And the co-op will sign a contract with the lowest bidder. All right. Does that preclude us from bidding? No. We can still bid. We can still go out to bid if it is a requirement.
Hey, Charlie, how much does it cost the borough if you go out to bid? Because there is a cost to the borough.
There is. We're going to most likely need to have someone who's very, very familiar with the bidding process.
Okay.
I can't answer that question right now. Just don't have enough information. But there will be a cost to it.
And Charlie, I also have a question. Do we not go through a co-op also when we do our DPW vehicles and those things? Do we
correct.
typically go out to bid for the DPW vehicles?
Typically, no. We go through the Morris County Co-op.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
What's the role of the Absolute Fire Protection Company? What do they do?
Again, I can't answer that question. I know we work through them to make sure, I'm there when that fire truck is delivered, I'm there with a check. I can't answer that question. I don't deal with Absolute.
Are they the manufacturer or are
No,
they?
they're not the manufacturer.
They're a middleman,
I assume they are.
agent.
Again,
The same ones as the last engine.
yes.
So basically, we would be doing the same exact thing
That's correct.
now that we did, whatever, 2 years ago.
Yep.
Do we know if they mark up the cost
I don't
at
know.
all?
I don't know.
I would think that they're probably not doing it for free. I would imagine that there's some markup to it. However, they wouldn't really be able to say that they're getting the lowest price if they were marking it up beyond the price that we could get it on our own. So it would be, in other words, it would be a misrepresentation of the truth. If they marked up the cost of whatever the engine is, and I guess we could ask the same question of the Morris County Co-op. Do they do it for free, or do they mark it up? You know, that's the same sort of thing.
But are we dealing with the co-op, like, if you, can you, I don't know how these things work, so I'm admitting that. But can you go to Houston Galveston and buy it from them?
That would be.
Or are they just the,
They're just an agent.
I don't know.
They negotiate the best price with the manufacturer.
Alex, can you come up? I don't know if you would know the answer to these questions.
So there's three components. There's the co-op, which is Sourcewell or Houston Galveston, that's the co-op, but they level the price. Absolute Fire Protection is the local dealer, just like any other vehicle that you would purchase, there's a local dealer, and the manufacturer of the vehicle is E1. So they go through Absolute, and E1 are in the co-op, and that's the lowest price. You can buy other manufacturers' vehicles through the same co-op, Pierce or other fire engine manufacturers, and they're all leveled at the same rate.
So Galveston is just a group of,
Yeah, they have, you go through Galveston to get any number of things, not just fire engines, you can, just like any other co-op, they have all sorts of different products, vehicles, et cetera, and that's the point of the co-op, is to avoid the bid process and get to the lowest bid.
so it's normal for everything you buy through there to have a dealer or a
Correct.
vendor. Or vendors are what's inside of the Galveston.
Exactly, yeah.
Are we the only municipality that goes through Absolute, or?
No,
Galveston?
Absolute is the New Jersey E1 dealer, so anybody in New Jersey that buys an, there may be other dealers, but most that buy E1 fire engines in New Jersey go through Absolute. So like if you were buying a Pierce, you'd go through Fire and Safety, they're the distributor for Pierce, it's the same.
They're not part of Galveston though, right?
I think Pierce is also, yeah.
Pierce part of it?
Yeah.
And they didn't bid on this, or?
Well, we didn't, it wasn't a bid, you go through Houston Galveston and you can select which manufacturer. We're staying with the same manufacturer that did the last two, which is E1.
And how much was the last truck?
It was $575, the last one. They've had four price increases since that one was
In
awarded.
2.5 years, they
Yeah,
were price
yeah,
increases.
yeah.
We've got another pricing increase, 3-4% coming in March.
Yeah, they said now they're on this, the problem was this truck is gonna take 26 months. From the time you release it, it takes 26 months to get it. And what has happened is they had vehicles that were ordered, and in the time that elapsed, they're breaking even or losing money because everything has skyrocketed. So they're doing quarterly price increases. I think that price increase from the last one was like 30% over that 2-year period. So they've said that they've got another one, that like they anticipate 2 to 4% minimum over, each quarter of the year going forward.
Have you compared the prices? I know you said that E1 is the one you bought the last time. Have you compared the prices to Pierce or to a?
We can take the spec for this engine and go back to Sourcewell, which is the same as Houston Galveston, they're both co-ops, and look at the same engine for Pierce with the same specs, it will be the same price, because that's the point of the co-op. They take the same specs and they level the playing field. So you could do that. You could log on to Houston Galveston and you can put in for a 2000 GPM pumper, and you can see that various manufacturers are leveled at the same price. It's the same thing for the dump trucks when you buy them, like Eric mentioned.
But a dump truck, Ford or Chrysler or Chevy, they're all going to be the same price?
That's the point of the co-op. Unless there's differing specs from one to another, if you're getting this, they're leveling the price. That's the point of the co-op.
So you're saying the Pierce would be the same price?
Exactly. If you bought the same truck with Pierce, right, the same spec, same size engine, same size pump, it would be the same price. Yeah, exactly.
And
You could go out to bid. You could go out to bid, but that's the reason to do the co-op, is to avoid the bid process, because A, it's costly, and B, you've got to take a manufacturer's spec and write something that's generic, so that you're not writing something that's specific to one manufacturer, which would be rigging it. You have to make it very generic so that any manufacturer can provide the specific elements of what
We can't buy shares in this at the borough, so we can make some money on this?
In E1, I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm just saying, in 2.5 years, they've had a 30% increase. We should be in that business with
I'm not sure if they're publicly traded, but we can check.
We should invest in them.
Hey, maybe the Kinnelon Volunteer Fire Company should.
Yeah.
Should invest, I mean.
Yeah.
Alex, a quick question. So, just as an overview, and this is out of curiosity, so when I buy trucks, for my fleet, I try to buy specifically the same spec, same truck. So my parts are kind of like interchangeable, same with pumps, valves, that type of stuff. How much difference would a Pierce engine be from the E1 engine?
They have, each manufacturer has some components that are their own proprietary components, like some of the valves and the electronics and things like that.
Right.
The big components, like the engine and the pump, those come from other manufacturers, and you could level the playing field on that.
Yeah.
This truck is identical to engine 33 with some exceptions as far as like the ladders and things like that that are a little more specific to which side it counts.
In my mind, it makes a little more sense to have it the same, so that way when you're ordering things, they fit either or.
We've also found that as far as customer service and their responsiveness, that E1 has been we have Pierce engines, the older trucks are Pierce, and we found E1 to be much more responsive. We have this issue with tanker 2 that's ongoing right now. Pierce has no records of the engineering that was done on that tanker, and they modified the tank when it was delivered to us, and they can't find the records. We've had a lot of issues with them and their turnaround time.
And this is replacing what?
This is replacing engine 22, which is in Company 2 Firehouse. It's a 1991 Pierce engine.
It is the same.
It's it's very similar. There's it's obviously a modern fire engine. That was will be 30.
We have almost 3 or 4 weeks before our workshop, so if there's any questions, I can give them to Alex, and we can get us going to look at different
So what are we
specs.
doing with engine 22?
We'll sell them.
You sell it?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea what the value is on it?
It ranges. When we sold the last engine we sold, we got like $10,000 for it. It's old, so what we're going to do, and we need to do this with old engine 3, which we still have because this tanker 2 is out of service. There's brokers that you can bring the engine to, and they'll either buy it directly from you or they'll market it, and you can sell it for fair market value. So we will do that. And then
And you take the equipment off the old engine and put it into the new engine?
correct, yeah, exactly.
So it's not repurchasing all that
Right, exactly.
hose, and the hose you probably have to repurchase.
The hose, actually, this one anticipates that we're taking all the hose off of current engine 22 and putting it on new engine 22.
And then why, normally, when we do a capital purchase like this, it's all part of the budget. We're doing this outside the budget process. Normally, I like to see how it's going to impact the budget, what our other purchases are going to be in the budget, and kind of do an overall evaluation. But we're doing this separate from the budget.
Yes. I think our CFO did a pretty good description of how this does fit into the plan that has been set in place from the prior finance councils or committees, and I'm confident to hear that it does fit into the plan. And like stated, it's a 2-year basically. Charlie, it's bonded and paid in 2 years. But again, I trust.
2 years before it's delivered, but we actually haven't even decided how we're paying for it. We're doing a ban, but we haven't decided when it rolls over into a bond. 24, 32.
Yeah, and that's why we're introducing it tonight, and we can discuss it further. But like I said, I trust our CFO's plan on how this will be laid out.
So Charlie, this is correct then?
I'm sorry?
This is what you described, what we're going to do with the sliding, the ban, this is correct?
Yes, this is correct. The bond ordinance is correct. I hear what's being said, and we do need to consider capital as a whole. And the way I look at this is, look, if we're saying that a fire truck is of primary importance right now, Can we do this? Yes, we can, okay? Does it offset the amount of dollars that we want to go into debt for? Of course it does. There's, you know, I'm trying to keep a limited amount in debt, and we've got the ARP funding, and we've got debt, and I'm trying to keep a limited amount because we don't have a pot of gold sitting there that we could just go into. So, you know, by doing this, we're saying, yes, this is of primary importance that we want to get it done. Are there other things that are of primary importance? Well, we've been having meetings on that, and we're finding out that, yes, there are. Can we do the other things? Some of them we can, some of them we can't. We have to make that decision.
But again, my original question, I think you answered it, was that we're not laying out any money at this time.
And again, we're authorizing $40,000. We're saying that we have $40,000.
That's our liability for
Yes.
over and above our debt.
That's correct. That's correct.
That part I get.
Yeah.
But we don't have to put that money out until we get the truck.
That I have to look into. Are you saying that, is Absolute or who's ever building this fire truck gonna say, we need 10% down? I don't think so.
I don't think we've ever done it. I think it's been in purchase order only.
Yeah. I believe it's always been, I show up, when that truck is delivered, I show up and a check is handed for the full amount.
Charlie, when engine 33 was delivered, how did it go down? Were you standing there with the check and handed it to Absolute? And that was basically the full amount
I
of the
believe
truck?
it was, yeah.
I've been trying to do this to print the big check. Well, that's what it was, a big check.
So could you make yourself free for our workshop?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna, if this gets passed out, it's not done. It still might have more questions. Charlie might have more
Right.
information. And
Sure.
So this is worded right then, Charlie, right?
Worded right, I have trouble with that word right. It's worded, because there's a number of ways we can do this. So is one way better than another way? Well, based on what I've found, in terms of what we can and can't do, I believe this is the best way we can go.
I think, personally, I'm gonna vote for this introduction, but until I know the way we're financing it and what the impact's gonna be on the budget, I'm not guaranteeing that I'll vote for the approval of this later.
Yeah.
So I wanna be sure that we understand exactly where the money's coming from
Okay.
and what the impact's gonna be on the budget.
One of the options you had posed, if I'm remembering correctly, Charlie, was taking that $300,000 out of the ARP money and purchasing the chassis or some portion of the truck and then bonding for the rest of it. And one of the reasons why I think you said that you didn't think that was the best idea is because we wanted to hold on to the ARP money and use it for the other capital
Yes, right.
expenses. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that's a great idea. And if we can manage the debt, the bonding for the entire truck, and especially since, my understanding is we're not going to be laying out any money until, or even doing the bond request for at least a year and a half. I think this would be an intelligent way of approaching something that has really been kicked down the road for a very long time and will, if not addressed immediately, will cost us another $31,500 when the price increase hits. That's my understanding of what's going to happen.
Well, if this is what we can recommend, this is perfect. We have to get a new truck. How we pay for it and what you propose it's right on.
It fits into our plan.
It fits into the plan,
Now,
and we don't have
and
tax increase.
as Councilman Yaga said, well, is that plan complete yet? And no, it's not. One of the things that I've said in budget meetings is the capital plan is not written in stone. when we do our current fund budget, our operating budget, it's written in stone, okay? But if you look at the document that I have to complete for the state, it has a capital plan, and now there's a question as to whether in that budget document, do we have to do a 3-year capital plan according to the state or 6? Because, and Attorney Giblin, I'll just, throw this out to you, and I'm not asking, it's not a question, but 2 years ago, we were at a population of over 10,000, 10,050. That pushes me to a 6-year capital plan. We're now under 10,000. Does that mean I do a 3-year capital plan? I mean, it's, to me, it's almost semantics. It's kind of ridiculous.
You do it
that
anyway.
number.
You do it anyway.
And you know what? We may want to do that anyway. It's a 6-year.
Yeah, so this is our third truck in the same financial process.
Right, right. But it says in that budget document, there's almost a disclaimer right underneath the 6-year capital plan that this is subject to change. It's not written in stone, as the rest of the budget is. It's to give the public an idea of which way the municipality is moving with their capital plan dollars, and what they see as of primary importance, that it is listed, and go from there.
I actually want to thank you, Charlie, for the meetings that we've had with you in regard to capital and letting us look at all of the different things that the different groups have been asking for and allowing us to make prioritization based on, what has happened in the past, we're imagining is going to be happening in the future, and what our immediate needs are. So, great job on that.
Yeah, thank you for continuing the plan.
Okay, so we have a first on the floor by Councilman Churdo and a second by Councilman Maybe. I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago,
Yes.
Councilman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Maybe,
Yes.
Councilman Russo,
Yes.
Councilman Charles,
Yes.
Councilman Churdo.
Yes.
Okay, whereas the above ordinance was introduced in this meeting held on February 16th and read by title and passed on the first reading, now therefore be resolved that at the regular meeting to be held on March 16th, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Kinnelon Municipal Building, this council will further consider for second reading and final passage the said ordinance. Be it further resolved that at the Borough Clerk of this borough is hereby directed to publish the proper notice thereof. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the tax collector's report, please, and investment officer's report.
Tax collector's report, during the month of January 2023, the tax collector's office processed a total of $3,986,253.94. Investment officer's report, a total of $28,174.96 was earned in interest for the month of January 2023.
Thank you. I need someone to make a motion to pay the schools $3,321,495.67.
So moved.
Second.
A little more enthusiasm. All right, and I need a motion, I need a roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have appointments for SOSAC Secretary Karen Yuley, the Kinnelon Borough Appraisal and Consultation is Louis S. Eisenberg, and Kinnelon Volunteer Fire Company, a new junior firefighter, Christopher Gilman. I need a motion to approve those appointments.
Make a motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Yago?
Yes.
Councilman Harris?
Yes.
Councilman Maybe?
Yes.
Councilman Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Charles?
Yes.
Councilman Churdo.
Yes.
The resignations, we have William Allen from the DPW, Dr. Steven Savino from the Planning Board, and Laura Gakis from SOSAC Secretary. I need the resignations with regret.
I'd like to just make a comment on Dr. Savino. Dr. Savino was a member of the planning board for 16 years. We unfortunately lost a lot of experience on the planning board. Tammy Roselius was a member for 27 years. Unfortunately, she was not reappointed because she did not want the apartments to be put into Kinnelon. But what I'd like to do is make the recommendation, because of her 27 years of service, that we reappoint Tammy in Dr. Sabino's place. I know that this goes against 3 council members who are for the apartments, and you, Mayor, who's for the apartments. But I think that the experience that she brings is priceless. She's got the institutional knowledge. She's worked on, I believe, 3 different master plans, and I think that one person on the council that's against, on the planning board that's against the apartments isn't going to hold up your desire to put those apartments in.
May I ask what apartments we're talking about?
The apartments, the ones that you guys admitted to, if you look at the meetings, the last 2 meetings, you'll see that you guys were for apartments.
Lead Mine Road.
But where?
Lead Mine
Lead
Road.
Mine Road.
Oh, okay. Those, not the ones you were talking about, you guys were talking about in the Meadtown Shopping Center.
No, that's
Which I don't know
the Stop and
anything about.
Shop, and that one is going to probably be pushed through with a lawsuit, which I'm a little bit concerned about that also.
And more importantly, we're in the Highlands. Everybody forgets that. We're 98% in the Highlands. And Tammy has tremendous knowledge and respect with the Highlands Council and several of the groups down in Trenton. And that's very, very important to have right now because we're under attack. All the Highland communities are under attack. They want to start to open them up to commercial. And we need people who understand the Highlands. It's not that easy. It's very complicated, and it is relationships. And again, right now, we don't have anybody on the planning board with relationships with the Highland Council.
And keep in mind, Kinnelon has 3% of its property is commercial property. You take a commercial property, like the property behind Lowe's that's listed as commercial, that is outside the preservation, the Highlands Preservation Zone, that is probably the only place we'll ever be able to develop another commercial piece of property and turn it into residential. It's just not the wise thing to do.
We'll take it under consideration and we can talk about it at our next workshop. So I need a motion for the resignations.
With regrets.
Second,
Second with regrets.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against?
And, excuse me, Mayor, before you adjourn, I just want to mention that at the next workshop meeting, originally, I was considering putting 2 ordinances on for introduction. However, there were a number of questions about the ordinance that it has to do with our zoning. What the planning board came up with, the reexamination and just the rezoning of certain areas in town. There were a number of questions. So we moved a discussion of those 2 ordinances to the next workshop session. Our planner, Jessica Coldwell, will be here to answer any questions. And the only request that she had was to start that meeting at 6:30. So I'm just letting you know.
So the whole meeting will be starting at 6:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Are
Can
you
we
all
do
in
that?
favor of that?
Sure.
All right, so I'll put a notice in the newspaper.
We have to advertise it, post it.
Yes.
Alex? 6:30, all right. Okay, yeah, that's fine, thank you.
You can come and sit.
Eric? Eric, 6:30.
Yeah, 6.
Someone's got to remind Eric, all right? Okay, so,
Can you text me?
all right, so I need a Glenn Cisco motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
All right, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Go Colts.